of those automated health checks kick us out, the booster defaults to a trajectory, takes it to a landing burn and a soft splashdown in the Gulf.
Yeah, we have said it multiple times before, but it still holds true today. We accept no compromises when it comes to ensuring the safety of the public and our team, and the return will only take place if the conditions are right, and there are many of them. So there's a chance that we may not get to catch the booster today.
Yeah, and one aspect to the return and the catch of that booster is the audible sonic boom in the area around the return location. That happens as the booster's slowing down from supersonic speeds. It's similar to sonic booms that were heard during the return and landing of NASA's space shuttle for anyone that was in Florida for those.
Sonic booms like these are unique to vehicles returning from space and are one of the hallmarks of reusable systems like our Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy vehicles. The general impact to those in the surrounding area of a sonic boom is basically a brief thunder-like noise, and I've heard sonic booms before, but I got to experience my first in-person Starship sonic boom on Flight 7, and I can confirm it's pretty fun to experience.
And as someone who has heard sonic booms many times in Florida, they are definitely a hallmark, and what a way to a returning space vehicle. You can imagine the excitement is growing here, the crowd is growing. Kate mentioned our flight controllers in Ad Astra in Texas. Here in Hawthorne, we also have controllers on console in Mission Control, helping those teams in Texas monitor Starship's various systems, including the avionics and those 39 Raptor engines that were built right here in Hawthorne. Now, with 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go, Dan and Kate, how are we looking for a launch today?
So we are still looking good. We're just about fully topped out on propellant on both vehicles. The closeout's going to be coming up in about a minute on ship, and then about 30 seconds later on the booster. We are still hearing chatter in the background about the booster issue that we're tracking. We may still be able to pass the hold, but if we need to hold at T-minus 40 seconds, we have several minutes that we can hang out there and work to just kind of troubleshoot those final issues before we get the go. Once we're fully loaded on prop, which is coming up soon, we've got just shy of 11 million pounds of liquid oxygen, liquid methane on both of those stages. And then once we're done, we're going to see that we're going to hear the ground lines do what's called pushback. So all of that propellant gets pushed out of those lines back to the tanks, clearing the pad for launch.
Now, in the next few minutes, the guidance system will perform a final alignment. The automated flight safety system will be armed, and thrust vector control, or TVC, checkouts will be performed. As we said, if we do need to hold, it would come at that T-minus 40 mark. That is the point in the countdown where we can pause to wait for final checkouts or pressurization, or if we need to continue to work through that issue. So once we pass through that T-minus 40-second mark, a number of things are going to happen quite quickly. The ground spin and ignition systems come up to pressure. The ship's going to go on to internal power. And after that, the quick disconnect, or QD, arm lockout is removed in preparation for retraction shortly after T0. And once we do pass that T-minus 40 seconds, we still have the ability to recycle the count under certain conditions back to that T-minus 40 seconds and hold there to assess what happened and if we can proceed again to T0. But that's only in certain situations.
All right, so we're just about 2.5 minutes away. We do have a couple of things like if we hit T-minus 10 seconds and you see water start flowing out of the deflector, that is a reason for us to scrub for the day, is that's once it's turned on, it doesn't turn off, and then we'll have to refill the tanks on both the water farm and the prop farm. Our team's gotten really, really good at refilling stuff really quick, so we can reposition for about a 24-hour recycle if we need to.
Yeah.
But
speaking of
we're
things,
coming up. We're coming up just under 2 minutes away. Now hearing we might hold at that T-minus second mark while they still talk through a couple of troubleshooting steps. But again, if we hold there, we can hold there for several minutes, even with all prop fully loaded on the vehicle, before we can release the hold and decide to move forward. All right, less than a minute and a half away. Again, keep your eye on the clock. Look for T-minus 40. We may hold there. It's not a rocket launch unless you're talking nonstop in the background until where you lift off.
Once again, if we hold at T-minus 40 seconds, we have an opportunity to hold there for several minutes. This is unique to Starship. We don't have this ability on Falcon.
As we're about 15 seconds away, we did just here. We are going to hold at T-minus 40. So look for the clock to pause when we hit T-minus 40 as they finish troubleshooting. And then we'll let you know as soon as we start hearing more, and if that clock's when that clock's gonna start rolling. So holding at T-minus 40. So the team's talking in the background, still troubleshooting, and we can hang out here for a couple of minutes. All right, and it sounds like we cleared the issue on the booster. We're now holding for a late breaking issue with ship, so they're talking through that right now.
Dan, you mentioned things that we've gotten really good at. It's incredible to think that we just stacked this vehicle earlier this morning, and we're already, through prop load. Prop load's pretty much complete and ready to go. It's a very slimmed down timeline.
Yeah, this by far will be our fastest. We stacked the thing for the first time ever with these vehicles less than 24 hours ago. We really want to get to a point where we can, fly rapidly, fly as quickly as possible. And so this is definitely a case to try and push that forward. No wet dress or anything like that with these vehicles.
Absolutely. And should this booster come back for a successful landing, you were talking about the rapid part of rapid reusability. This booster may fly on a future Starship flight if we're able to catch it and bring it back online. So for those of you that have just recently joined us, we have paused at T-minus 40 seconds just to assess and work through a problem that popped up in the countdown, and we are holding here as the teams troubleshoot it. We believe that we have put in a solution and we will be able to proceed, but we have some chatter on some nets indicating that we're just holding here for a few more seconds. Now, this is a great opportunity for the teams. This is unique on Starship. We don't have this ability on Falcon to hold here, partially because there's just so much propellant that it takes longer as a whole for it to cool down with that amount of volume that we have compared to the Falcon vehicle. But this T-minus 40-second hold is pretty cool because basically everything that would have been scrub is actually just an opportunity to hold here and work through it. Or I should say many things, not everything. Like I said, we're working through an issue now, but we can also pause here for final checkouts or completion of pressurization to get up to flight levels, that kind of thing. So it's a nice feature to allow the team to wait for final checkouts or assess final prop levels or engine health and that kind of stuff.
All right, and if you're just tuning in, we are still holding at this T-minus 40-second gate. We cleared an issue on the booster that we were working up until the hold, still working one on ship, and team still continuing to discuss in the background. We can still hold here for several more minutes. If we're not able to resolve the issue or find a workaround, then we would have to essentially scrub and stand down for the day. If that does happen, we can go as early as tomorrow, but that clearly depends on what work we might need to do to fix any issues. So just obviously stay tuned. But right now, we're a little over 5 minutes into this hold today. We've got a couple more minutes that we can hold at T-minus 40 before we have to kick out. Essentially, looking at a lot of those propellant temperatures on both vehicles, you want those to stay in pretty specific ranges for engine startup and things like that. That's what generally drives how long we can hold at T-minus 40. So still hanging out. As soon as we hear an update on the ship, we will let you know. Starting to sound like we might have a decision real soon. All right, you see the clock rolling. It is time to go for launch. So, 30 seconds to go. Oh. And we just heard a hold. So we kicked. Psych. No. So we did kick out back to the T-minus 40 hold. All right, so as we started counting back down, we did trip a few more holds automatically from the booster itself. So we are now going to hang out here again at T-minus 40. They've got a couple more troubleshooting steps that they can take. If we're able to get through that, we can start counting down again. If not, we could always offload and try again on either tomorrow or another day. But right now, we're not done for the day yet. Still holding at T-minus 40 seconds. And as soon as we hear some more or start seeing that clock move, you will know if we're going to go for our launch attempt today or if we just try it again another day. So keep listening in, and we'll have an update shortly.
Go.
All right, we did just hear the call. We are going to offload for today. So we had a couple of holds trip as we started counting down from T-minus 40 again. And it's not something we can change with small config tweaks. So we are going to offload our prop and then try again another day. So we're able to fully tank the vehicle. We're unable to lift off today, but just because we don't go today doesn't mean we're not going to go tomorrow or one of the days coming up. So we are going to start offloading all of that propellant on the booster and the ship. As we talked a little bit earlier, we can go as soon as 24 hours later. We won't know that for sure until we dig into everything that kicked us out of our attempt today. So obviously just keep an eye on all of our updates. So we are expecting could be about 24 hours, but we will definitely let people know.
Yeah. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Unfortunately, we would have liked to lift off today, but the teams are doing the right thing and standing down while we troubleshoot, and we'll share more information as it becomes available, including when our next launch opportunity is. So be sure to keep an eye on our SpaceX account on X, and as I said, we'll share more information as it becomes available.
All right. Thanks all for joining us today. We'll see you at the next attempt.